So nice to see you today virtually on May 24th, 2024. We're leading in the States to a Memorial Day holiday. And I have to tell you, this has been a tough year. This has been brutal lately, and I cannot wait for a holiday to come. But as a good segue, I'll tell you this, that you can't look forward to a good holiday if you haven't done a good job of delegating to other people so that they can get things done successfully, whether you're there or not. So let's talk about this delegation. I want to start here though. We've been getting really good numbers of people coming and signing up to the podcast. This one didn't have as good of an attendance. Obviously, we'll distribute this later, and people will get a chance post podcast to see it. But I think there's something valuable in that it didn't attract as many people. And I think it's because we talk about delegation. We talk about the lessons that we need to do in leadership and strong management, but we talk about them in an idyllic way. And when it comes to the hard work and the focus, we want to talk more about the crises, the things that make us look heroic. But rather than that, when we talk about things like delegation, we got it covered. We don't need to talk about it. Or, yeah, that's a good topic, but I do have 3 other things to do. And I'm here to tell you this. If you cannot master the ability to delegate, you may hit moments of success, but they will be mercurial. You'll hit them, you'll walk away. They'll decline. You'll hit things. There are moments in your own life where you're going to be savant and you're just going to win. You're going to have moments of winning. But to sustain in business, consistency, to optimize your capabilities, it does require the entire team to participate. Look at it this way. If you are the leader of your organization, of your team, whatever area it may be, or if you're striving to become that, your job is to have a clear vision. Your job is to have a clear core value. Your job is to share that with your team and then give that to your team, inspire that in your team, gain passion from your single point of reference, but then allow the team to build and implement the strategies that go to the success of what that vision or that need is. I mean, it sounds easy, right? It sounds, wow, that's perfect. Let's go do it. It's really hard, okay? It's really hard because of you or me. It's hard because we can't often get out of our way. Or if we take pride in wanting to get out of our way, we get too far out of the way and we're not touching where we need to be touch points for people when they need us. But oftentimes the balance in delegation becomes the real issue. I know so many entrepreneurs that have started their companies, and at the beginning, they did everything. Almost all entrepreneurs at the beginning do get involved in every area. They don't sleep at night. They don't sleep on weekends. They're working, they're thinking, they're attacking, and they're pushing. And when they hit traction, and they've had a few people around them, but they've been involved with those people, they don't know when it's time for them to pull back and to be more conventional in terms of how to manage teams properly. And as I said, delegating is the key to it. So why does that where's the problem there? How do you make that transition? The problem is we're scared. The problem is we're either scared or our egos insist that we need to know everything all the time. And that means that when in knowing everything all the time, we have to get involved too much, too deep, take over all decisions, think that we are the best decider in the group, and it does not work that way. I remember we had a past president about 20 years ago who said his job was he was the decider. But that's not great delegation. He should be the visionary. He should be the value point. He should be the team builder. And then he should recognize it's his team that plays the sport and he's the coach, but he's not on the court. I think a great way to look at it is if you have a team, look at basketball and you see the coaches on the sidelines. Some of those coaches are running up and down the sideline and demanding that the team gets involved in that he gets involved in everything the team is doing, and it stifles the team. You can see it consistently, constantly, that he's stifling the team because he or she thinks they are so important that they're more important than the professionals that are already on the court. So when that happens, the teams become too deliberate. They become too reliant on that person and what they say, and they stop making decisions. Because they first want to be able to satisfy that person, and that person's demands become so strong that it becomes an ego-driven approach, and there's no identity other than that single person. If one of the things when I was younger and had my companies is where I had a big failure was I felt that when people were saying great things about me, that was good. But when they were saying great things about me, it meant that I was too far involved. I was too far out front. They should have been saying good things about the company and the people in the company and the confidence in the teams in the company, not the confidence in Steve does this, Steve builds this great company, Steve. I think the best teams are the ones where the outside world doesn't necessarily know who's the leader. The internal team does. So let's talk about how do you go about this. My own experience, built a company, got involved in everything. We gained traction. We began to grow. We got intense into the market and we began to add people. And one really almost on a 1 day moment on a dime, I looked around and realized that I was not too important in the moment to the day to day. And there was a hole in me. And there was pride in me. It was like, wow, good, I'm not needed. And I said, I've done a good job at delegation, but I hadn't, because what I kept doing is saying that I need to be in that conference room. I need to be in this meeting. I need to be there. And I kept walking in and breaking down doors in everybody's meeting. And as soon as I did that, the real message I gave, although I thought I was giving a message, I'm just a good manager by managing by wandering around and becoming aware, I was really saying, do it my way, do it my way, do it my way. And listen, I don't want everybody to do it my way. I just want people to understand the need, the goal, the outcome we're looking for, and they can take the strategy, they can be creative, and they will then make decisions. When I walk in a room, people in that room that were being creative stop making decisions, or they make decisions and look at me, or they make the decisions that they talk about the decisions that we're going to make, but don't make the decision exactly because they don't want to disappoint. That's not what I mean about delegation. So what I did in those days is when I began to realize that I was the one dysfunctional. The company was beginning to work. I literally went to my search engine, my office, shut the door, and began to look up. And I think I've said this in earlier sessions. What does a CEO do? What is my job? Because remember, each one of us in a seat is a professional. And a professional means that they're good and they're strong in what they do. If I'm a professional CEO, I'm not necessarily the best manager of operations, the best COO, the best CRO, CMO. I'm not. I may have done those things, but at some point you need to make a selection and say, what am I? And what am I is what does the company need? And most companies need structure that is predictable. You can be creative in your structure, but the structure needs to be predictable because you cannot succeed except mercurially without your team and the delegation that's required to be out there so that that team becomes active, passionate, and involved. Do you get it? Do you see what I'm saying? So when I finally learned how to do that, then I did something else. Then I said, okay, if my job is to define the value system, define those core values, define the point of our existence, then I need to be an evangelist for that. So I need to teach them not what does Steve believe in, but what does the company believe in? What is the company's approach? What is a company method? What is the company motto? So we began to talk about the company and say it's the company stands for this. The company believes in this. The company. And then each area of that company assured that they did what they needed to do to make that work. Now, does that mean I never get involved? No, but that's where we screw it up. Like I say, I began to walk into too many rooms. I began to, in a way, ask too many questions. I began to build a sense that, okay, there's only so far you can go, but it better be what I want. Amazingly, that when things can happen in a company that you may not want that method of doing it, you still can get great results. It doesn't have to meet my checkbox. I do need the result. And if part of the result in your company is a certain culture that can be defined, such as we care about each other, we want to work closely together, we want to have an integration of ideas and assortments, whatever it may be, you have to define it. You can do that as the leader, then so be it. You can do that, but then leave it to your professionals to make the choices necessary to do it. So what else do? You just remove obstacles for people. And when you remove obstacles for people, remember, it's not what you think is an obstacle for people, it's what they tell you they need. I know when it's time for me to eat. I know when I need a certain thing. I know these things. I'm an adult. And when I don't have them or I need something and I need help, I ask for it. But you can't create an environment of a true delegation where people feel that when they come to you, they're being judged. So the next thing you have to do in removing obstacles is let people ask when they need it in a comfortable environment where they're not shut down, they're not being judged. Judging is sort of the wink, wink, I'm happy with you. You're good, but really, is that how you want to do it? Okay, all right. If that's how you want to do it, that's fine. No, 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 no. Quit gaming it. Stay as a leader in your lane. Okay. There are times that we do evaluations and overviews of our business. There is a natural approach to that. There is change management that should have its own process and approach and leadership and team within a company. And within that context, you will get the view of how the company is doing. But don't try not to let the company become you. Try to let the company be the people, because that's the true definition of success. So, look, I hope that kind of gave you some inspiration and insight and makes you look at yourself and say, where do I fit in this scheme? And by the way, it's not just the leader of a company, it's every man, every area within a company where you have a leader or a manager or a team. Everybody should be doing it that way. And that way is to let mistakes happen. We're all managers. If we make a mistake today, we're paid to make decisions. So make a different decision tomorrow. That's all. Don't go crazy, because no one decision should bury you, okay? But making decisions in the context where it's all in your head, that can kill you. You take care. I'm going into a holiday weekend, looking forward to it, and I cannot wait to see you in a couple weeks. I think you'll like the topic. You take care. Bye-bye.